What's going on, my Ninja Clan Grandmaster NikkNitro? Today we'll be doing a little discussion, a little talkie in a video about some big changes that they announced for Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate. Now, a couple days ago during the Kombat cast for the Melina breakdown, afterwards they did talk about some big changes, patches, balancings, and just quality of life changes that are going to happen for the game. Now, I didn't have a reaction rate since I was away for the weekend, but I did watch the Kombat cast and I did have my thoughts about it. Been thinking about it over a couple of days, and now that I'm back in the dojo, here are my thoughts and discussions about it. Let's get the big one out of the way. Custom variations are now allowed in ranked. Yes, that means custom variations are now competitive. They can be used in tournaments, and of course, they're going to be used in Combat League. So with that, there's a larger spectrum of competitive play that's going to happen now. Custom variation focused players who've been on casual the entire time now are allowed to play ranked with those custom variations. And then for those who were Combat League or tournament focused players who just focus on those three variations, now they have a larger arsenal to use because now this is available to them for them to use custom variations or make the variations of the characters the way that they want to now. So given that, almost all the moves are now competitive legal, with a few exceptions that are completely banned for, obvious reasons. I'm not going to get into that. There's a couple that are known. For a detailed explanation of some of this stuff that was mentioned in the Kombat cast, I'll link the Kombat cast description below. Now, of course, the preset variations, the 3 tournament variations, those are still available now if you still want to use them, but now you have room to customize them or have your own custom variation to be used for competitive play now. But be careful, there is still a finite number of combinations, and some moves do take 2 slots in your 3-slot custom variation, so you still will have to choose carefully. You won't be able to do it completely anything you want, but that's where a bit of strategy and mental planning is gonna go into play here. This is how this game is gonna set those apart, from those who are not only skilled but also strategic in their competitive play. And what I mean by that is you just don't make any variation that gives you the longest or highest damaging combos. No, you're gonna make sure that you have that variation that will make your character viable and be able to beat your opponent out and outplay them. Because remember, it doesn't matter how big those 600, 700 damage combos are if you don't take the win. So what does this mean, having these custom variations in competitive play now? Well, first of all, this pretty much was an indirect buff to everybody in the entire roster. Everybody got indirectly buffed because of the customizability now. So with that, it's given that this game is gonna be broken in a larger scale. This was not the typical balancing. It's more of like everything became so broken that it's not broken. What I mean by that, it's not 1, 2, or 5 characters who are broken, but everybody is now broken, and everybody's broken, nobody's broken. So this turn kind of makes it a bit more fair, because even if you have an opponent who will abuse a variation that's absolutely broken, now it's your job to make your character also absolutely broken. That's where the strategy is going to come into place, and of course the execution of the player themselves is going to also be a huge factor in this. For me, this is a big evolutionary step in fighting games, where now you will literally get to play your characters or the game the way you really want to play it. You are not limited now to a certain preset moves and a certain play style of a character. You get to play the characters in the way that you find most effective, and they'll be most effective for your specific play style. Now, another big question for all the NikkNitro Ninja Clan members out there: is this mean you're gonna go back to using Noob Saibot as your main? No, it's still gonna be Rain. Why? The thing is, I'll still use Noob, and I will definitely use Noob with customized variation to make him much more viable and remove his major weaknesses in this game. But does that mean I make Noob Saibot the most combo heavy, longest combo variation? No, I'm not going to do that whole sickle snag, shadow portals, 600 damage combo variation, because one, that is very meter hungry. Second, even if you do get the initial hits in, you have to hope they don't break away, and most likely if they haven't already broken away yet, you still have to open up your opponent. So getting those 600, 700 damage combos are not going to be easy for those who know how to fight against you. So in this case, Noob Saibot actually, as a viable character with a custom variant, will be actually a more solid zoner. using the shadow slide, the spirit ball, and in my case, the air dive kick to make Noob be able to control the space, the distance, and make him dangerous at all distances, which is one of the characteristics of top tier or solid viable characters, being dangerous at any distance. So now I've established that I really am gonna main Rain. When we saw the first 3 variations of Rain, we all thought, oh, we're gonna use this variation and that variation, but now we get to use not just Rain, but any character the way we absolutely want to play them. Of course, keeping in mind, we're trying to still make it strategic and viable in any type of matchup. But still, the fact that there's more room for creativity I know there's a lot of you creative players out there. There's a lot of creativity and creative juices amongst all of you. I've seen it. This is now your time to shine, where your creativity and your knowledge and your skill and your strategic prowess in a fighting game is all gonna now be put to the biggest test in this overhaul of a change for this game. So overall, I think that this major change of this game, it completely overhauls the game. It completely brings it to a new level, a new kind of, area of competitive play, which I think that this has given the title of Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate now a well-deserved, approval. So with the big change out of the way, let's talk about the other things that they mentioned in the Combat Cast. Good news for all of those who started this game a little bit later, Combat League seasons will be repeated around the end of December or after Combat League Season 16. So yes, all of those who weren't able to get the skins from Season 1 all the way till now, you have a second chance to do it. So not only will you have a second chance to get these skins, but these skins will now be in a different tier listing order or a different rank order. For example, if on Season 1 you weren't able to get the Aaron Black skin because it was in Demi-God ranking, now it'll be switched into a different ranking, either Apprentice or Champion. They're all going to be swapped, so now you have really an even bigger chance to grind for these skins. What about those who already got the skins? That means is there nothing for them? That's not true. There's actually going to be new gear and new brutalities for you to unlock if you repeat these Combat League seasons. It's like, now what if you don't want the gear or any of the new brutalities? That's fine. Now you have the option to choose not to play Combat League because you will now not miss much of anything other than the exclusive skins. But if you already got them, you're really not going to miss much other than the new gear. But again, people want skins more than gear, so now really there's something for everybody. Whether you want the skins you never got, you want the new gear, new brutalities, or you don't want anything at all, you can just relax for the entire season. That's all completely fine. So this is now catering to almost everybody in terms of Combat League rewards. Now the more minute changes, the quality of life changes, or I like to call it the quality of fight changes. First, what they mentioned is that now getting up will be faster now. So the get up frames are going to be much faster now. So all those moments where you're trying to time the meaties, now it's going to be a lot faster. Opponents will be able to get up faster, move faster, retaliate faster. It's going to be even faster pace when it comes to knockdowns and Okizumi. Next, delayed wake ups. Now when you press the delayed wake up button or the flip stance button while you're down, there will be a set period for how long you will be delayed waking up, and there will be an animation for it as well, where their hands will go on the floor, they'll look up, as we saw in the trailer for Rain when Sindel delayed her wake up. So now this change has actually given a indirect buff to the attackers. So meaties are going to be easier to time now. A lot of whiffing is not going to happen anymore. Now defensive options is going to be limited now, because now the attacker can time better now, and therefore defending now is going to be a big importance now. Your defensive game is going to need to improve a lot if you're going to defend against the attacker during these situations. Next, short hops are getting a buff. Short hops now are invincible or invulnerable to pokes now. So any of those down ones, down threes, down fours will not be able to hit opponents who short hop. So short hopping will now be a viable tool. It will be a necessary tool, and it will allow you to do those short hop attacks without getting interrupted by those who tend to panic press or panic mash. So therefore now everybody now has a viable overhead now. So for all those complaining that, oh, my character doesn't have an overhead, everybody has an overhead, no excuses now. Speaking of pokes, Pokes will be nerfed now. Down 1, down 3, those will be nerfed now. Meaning that there's going to be now more minus on block. It's not going to be unsafe, but it will be more minus. Meaning that if you block a poke, you have more options in your hand to retaliate now. And those who tend to mash or repeatedly press the poke button will not be rewarded this time. And so now more strategy and less panic pressing is going to be important for these fights. Now this change I actually am very excited for. Flawless block windows have been increased. I think they mentioned that it's going to now be 6 frames instead of 3 frames. What I mean by that is if you press block at the proper time for floss blocking within 3 frames of a move about to connect to you, you'll floss block. Now it's increased to 6 frames, so you now have a 6 frame window to flawless block multiple moves now, whether it's strings, first hits of certain strings, or even fatal blows. You can now flawless block easier now. So for those of you who are having trouble flawless blocking, this could be your answer. And for those of you who have practiced flawless block but just can't seem to get it down, this will probably make it more consistent for you now. And for those who have completely mastered flawless blocking, now it'll be much more evident that you have mastered flawless blocking. So flawless blocking now becomes something that's like not just like impossible anymore, but now it's going to be important in your fights. So now everybody has a chance to be able to flawless block. It's still not going to be easy, but it's now much more doable, and you must be more careful and much more mentally prepared if an opponent will flawless block you. Now this is something I've been hearing a lot of people beg for. The punishability on fatal blows, because fatal blows have such big pushback on certain characters. Now the pushback has been reduced because fatal blows were technically punishable, but the opponent could not reach them due to the massive pushback. The pushback now has been decreased, and so now if you block a fatal blow, especially those random fatal blows, the ones I always get caught by, now you have an easier time to punish with almost any character you use. You don't have to rely on a charging special attack or a far-reaching string in order to punish those block fatal blows. And then something that's very minuscule but could still make a difference, throws have been nerfed by 1%. So before they were 14% on damage, now they're around 13 to maybe even 12% on damage. Also, throws are still good, they're still usable, but it's not going to stack up as fast as it does currently right now. So these are all just the basic gist and general overlook of the changes that are going to be happening with Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate. They are going to release patch notes before Mortal Kombat 11 gets released on the 17th, so we still have time to read up on everything and to plan our strategies accordingly for those of us who really want to get that information ahead of time and plan ahead. So overall, what do I think about this? I think that these changes are definitely going to reintroduce the game to us. I feel like we're getting a brand new game. We're truly getting the Mortal Kombat 11 that we were truly hoping for from the very get-go, where Ed Boon promised us that we would have custom variations for competitive play. It took about 1.5 years for it to happen, but he still kept to his word. Sometimes he does it with having a DLC character be DLC twice in a row, aka Rain, but he does keep his word to some of this stuff, such as custom variations being available for competitive play. And for me, I think this is definitely gonna like make everybody a stronger character, but it's also gonna increase the challenge level of this, because people who already were hard to beat or tough opponents are now just gonna be even tougher now, because now there's a whole new strategy, whole new planning, whole new matchup knowledge. There's going to be a lot of things to learn. It's like we're going to relearn this game all over again, but in a fun sense, where we get to experiment so many things we haven't seen before, things we have seen before, but with a little tweak in there. It's going to really make this game appeal to not just newer players, but finally the veterans and competitive players of this game are now attracted to this game again, like I am. I'm definitely super excited. At first I wasn't really enjoying Mortal Kombat anymore, but now this could really be the kick in gameplay mechanics that make it fun, that will increase the lifespan of this game to even longer than we were anticipating. So those are my thoughts and discussions on the changes that are happening for Mortal Kombat 11. Tell me what you all think, what's your opinions on these changes and quality of fight changes are. Are you excited? Are you not excited? Let me all know in the comment section below. I would love to hear what you all have to say. Anyways, hope you all enjoyed. I hope this was educational for you guys. Thank you to all you members of my Ninja Clan. It's your Grandmaster NikkNitro. Stay awesome, my Ninja Clan.